and welcome back to Inside the Den, the second ever episode here on Lions TV. My name is Joshua Dawe, I'm your host. Great to have you back here at Zebby's Reserve, and we've got a massive second show for you after all round one footy was completed, and unfortunately for the football club, wasn't the greatest results, but nonetheless, we digress and we're going to get straight into it. Got a big guest tonight, the president, new president, Michael Gordon, will be joining us to speak about all things football club related, giving us the insight into all the social events upcoming. We look forward to having him join us. Before we get stuck into any of that though, a bit of a brief injury update because there's a few walking wounded around Zerby's Reserve tonight. A fair few injuries unfortunately picked up on the weekend, and a few fellas in media roles will be hampered playing time wise on the weekend. Fractured wrist for myself, and Jack Ladman as well, our expert photographer, has also fractured his collarbone, so we'll be out of action, but that means we'll just keep delivering fantastic media quality information straight to you. Michael Stephen as well, unfortunately, pulling a calf on the weekend. He'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks, but in some better news, Dylan Adu and Jack Shilakis, who have had little niggles over the last couple of weeks, look set to play this week. Of course, our team selection will be coming up very shortly. Connor Lucas, one on the long-term injury list, 7 weeks away with that hamstring. And Matty Drysdale, who also played in his first game in the seniors, a late inclusion, picked up a little ankle knock, but should be good to go. But onwards and upwards, because we had a round one clash at home against Murrelbach. We've got lots to get through. The senior score on the screen, and well, it wasn't a fantastic result for the seniors. A good start by the boys, kicking the first 3 goals and trailing by 7 points heading into the first quarter. But Murrelbach put on the pressure in the second quarter and couldn't quite capitalise, but big scores there, 12 scoring shots to the single goal. But regardless of the fact that it was quite a poor first half, the boys still took a lot of confidence into the second half and only trailed by 4 goals after kicking the first goal into the last quarter. But Murrelbach, quality side they will be this year, and they ran away with it. 18-30, 138 to 12-74. James Locke was fantastic in his first game for the club, snaring 3 goals. And Jake Whitling showed why he has had such a fantastic pre-season, also diving 3 goals and best of field nominations. Not a great game for the senior boys. Unfortunately, as we said, a few injuries picked up as well, but it's only round one, a long way to go. And the boys back at training tonight working very hard to get things right. Shane Tennant was inspirational as always and had a few words to the boys after the game. So positive signs regardless. The reserve score, well look, it wasn't as flattering either, unfortunately for us Lions. Going down to Murrelbach in the first game of the day, and Murrelbach kicked away strongly in the first quarter, 5 goals to 1. And that kind of led the way it was going to progress for the rest of the day, ending up winners 15-8, 98 to 5-7, 37. James Cooney down back, best of field. Rami in his 150th snared a goal, and a good celebration for that man, a fantastic milestone as we mentioned last week. And Jack Ladman in a newish sort of position down at full back was very solid. Unfortunately, of course, picking up the injury. So look, not the greatest of 2 games for the football club. 2 losses, but we can only improve from here, and we put that beside us as we head on to round 2 this week. We're joined now by the new president, Michael Gordon, and mate, it's been a couple of months now into the role, but how have you settled in? Obviously been involved with the football club for a while, but has it been difficult taking the step into the top dog role?
Oh, I don't think so, Josh. I mean, really with the support of the other committee, executive committee, it's been pretty seamless so far. Obviously very busy though with the plans for the season. We basically started I think a week or 2 after the last year's grand final, so we've been meeting sort of every 2 weeks prior to Christmas to try and get things sorted out for 2016. No, so far so good.
One of the bigger decisions made over the off-season was to appoint a reserves coach, and brought in someone with a lot of experience, a guy who's won flags at both Waverley and Doncaster, Erwin Anadoli, and he's settled in really well and been well received by the group. What was the big decision to, I guess, chase someone like that to get a bit more experience in the reserve side?
I think the most important thing is the development of the younger players, and that's something we've focused on for the last 3 years. Look, we've had great support in the last couple of years with Banger Harvey and Simon Roos, but we just felt it was really important that our focus had to be on developing younger players. unfortunately, this year, under 19s, but we think that Erwin's a past player, premiership player, under 19 best and fairest player, 300-game player of the EFL. He's well credentialed, and we felt that we had to keep looking for the best possible coach available for our development side, and I think he's been a great addition. And the practice matches in the first game last weekend, we've really got a good coach there with Erwin.
You mentioned the under-19 side that couldn't quite get the numbers up this year, which is unfortunate. What sort of steps are you putting in place to make sure that we get one again next year?
Look, I think the first thing we need to do is to understand the reason why some of the players, we've probably lost 4 or 5 players from last year's 19s that we thought we would have been able to retain. That probably wouldn't have been enough for us to have a side in our own right. But I think the biggest thing for this football club has been for many years. I'm the past president of Beverly Hills, so we've got to work on that relationship. And to the credit of appointing Matt Viano as our 19s coach, and whilst he won't have a role this year, we can focus on his playing. We're already working on 2017. Matt's involved in the Eastern Doncaster Cricket Club and knows a lot of the younger players. And so we're talking to Beverly Hills at this point in time regarding their involvement. I would say in a few weeks' time, the senior Colts players will be training at Zerby's on a Tuesday night. And at the end of their training, they'll be able to flow into our senior training. So, as you know, they've been down once already this season, and I think that's really important. So even though we haven't got a side for 2016, we are working very hard now for 2017, and that's just got to be the main focus for us going forward, to make sure we continue to do that, and then obviously develop a strong name in the community for under-19 football.
It's fantastic. Obviously, on field, the aim after last year's disappointment is a premiership. Do you feel the club is ready, if the premiership comes, to be a Division 1 side and try and match it with some of those big powerhouse names up in the top?
I think the most important thing is to be able to be competitive in Division 1, and I think that there's 2 things there. One is on the field, but also off the field. I think that we're making the right inroads into on the field by obviously our form last year. Last week probably didn't convince many that that's the case, but look, I've been downstairs at the moment talking to Shane Tennant about the game, and he's really positive about the playing, and he knows it's going to be a lot of hard work. We probably aren't as advanced as we'd like to be this pre-season as last, but look, end of the day, going forward, there's got to be 2, on the field, off the field. I think that probably off the field we're a bit behind. We'd love to say we could win a flag and go straight up there and win a flag in Div 1, but most history tells that doesn't happen. So it's about making sure you don't have the yo-yo effect. You don't want to go up and come straight back down. So we have to do a fair bit of hard work off the field this season to make sure we're right if it does come our way in 2017.
Off the field, there are a few big events coming up this year to kickstart the social calendar. Give them a bit of a plug so we can get everyone down there.
Look, our dinner dance annual ball is on Saturday the 7th of May at Shopping Town Hotel, which is one of our major sponsors. And I think we're going to have the red carpet on the night, so red carpet from 7 o'clock.
Lions TV will be there, of course.
Yes, that's right. So $70 a head, 3-course meal with Rocky's 4-piece band performance. So we're going for a live band this time. And to try and help some of the younger players, we've gone drinks at bar prices, where in previous years we've gone all-inclusive, which has been a bit prohibitive for the younger players. And then probably one of the other bigger events of the year on Saturday the 14th, I think it is.
Correct, yeah.
We have the ladies' luncheon, which has been a great success in the last few years, so that's selling well at the moment. But they're both really important events. I mean, the footy club has to build the social side, and we've been around since the mid-60s, and we've still got to make sure we've got a really strong support off the football field, because you guys can go out there and do your best on match day, but the off-field thing is just so important.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Michael. Congratulations on the role, doing very
Thanks,
well,
Josh.
and hopefully all goes well for you.
And also best of luck with your arm.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Okay.
Well, it's time for the moment you've been waiting for, the announcement of teams for round 2 against Bayswater at the MCG of the AFL, Bayswater Oval. And we've got a few changes to the senior lineup coming up on your screen now. 4 changes, in fact. In for his first game this year comes Jared Lowther off the back of a wrist injury. Birdie as well coming into the lineup there. Jake Clark for his first game of the year coming into the side, impressing the reserves, and Rami Ayubi off the back of his 150th game gets a senior appearance. Very strong side taking on Bayswater there, looking to find the first victory of season 2016. Those outs, Dawe with the wrist, he's a moron. Jack Shalakis, Matty Drysdale and Mika Stephen. So a few injuries there, but thankfully not too long. Hopefully we get a few of those boys back into the senior lineup. And flipping over to the reserves, well, very strong side. Jack Ladman going out with that fractured collarbone. And as you can see, some really good names on paper still down back, really enforcing through the midfield, and some crafty little people up forward to snare some goals. Tell you what, got two strong sides to take on Bayswater, and they'll be a tough test, no doubt about it. Make sure you get down. Reserves kick-starting at 10 past 12, and the seniors just after 2 o'clock. And a reminder as well that after the game, officials and fans are all welcome to the Croydon Hotel, where we'll be having nibbles and drinks, and you can have a chat to the players, hopefully after 2 big wins. Well, that's it for another episode of Inside the Den. Make sure you keep an eye out on the YouTube channel for special player videos and interviews with all your favourite lines. We're bringing you some of the best bits of some of the fantastic interviews with all our players. And thanks to Michael Gordon for joining me for today's episode. Great to have him on. Make sure you get around the social medias. Links to them are in the description below. All our Facebook and Instagrams are up and running, and our Snapchat on game day was a great success. If you can't make it to Bayswater Oval on Saturday to watch the game, make sure you follow the Snapchat story. We'll be giving you all the score updates as per usual across all social medias. It's going to be a big one. Before I finish, a big reminder about 2 more big events coming up on Anzac Day. After the game, we're back here for a special dinner with Kevin Sheedy, the Essendon legend. Richmond, of course, player as well, and did a bit of coaching at GWS. Kevin Sheedy, what a legend. He's going to be here having a speech to us after the Anzac Day game, so make sure you get along. Information on the screen now. And our past players and Sportsman's Day is also not so far away with the Wiz. Warwick Kappa loves it here down at Zerby's Reserve, and is more than welcome all the time. Always lots of fun when he's around, so make sure you check that one out. Contact Dave Sowsby for details about both of those ones. That's all from the Den. We'll be back next week. Don't you worry about that. We'll catch you at Bayswater Oval for a big clash against Bayswater, round 2 of EFL football. It's back, and us Lions are looking for a win. Catch you next time.